All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Your Money Matters, a financial empowerment show as we journey through 2023, getting off to a great start as it pertains to money and finances. In conjunction with CMP Radio, we seek to educate the masses on getting their money world right and moving the culture forward when it comes to finances. We have had some dynamic guests. We've been talking about getting into the money mindset, talking about income taxes, life insurance. We had 2 weeks of investments. And this week we are honored to have two credit specialists to talk to us about some credit tips and strategies that we could use to get our credit right. A lot of the times people are looking to improve their credit score when they would like to purchase a home, or they're going for a business loan, or whatever the case may be. Credit matters, so along with your money mattering. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our guests who are going to spend the next few minutes with us, just helping us to get prepared. So I'd like to introduce Jasmine M. Finger and Danielle Guglielmi. Ladies, are you in the building?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello, hello.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am. Hello.
All right. Welcome. I'm honored to have you on the show. I
Honored to be
networked with
here.
these ladies.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. I networked with these ladies on social media. And we are here, as a unified front to help you all this evening with your credit issues. So I'll
Okay,
let you
mom.
go first, Danielle, and just give us a little bit about your personal story and how you landed in the credit repair service business.
Sure. So, nice to meet you all and connect with you. My name is Danielle, and back in 2019, I found myself actually homeless due to my credit. So at the time, my credit score was probably in the 400s, very, very low. My file had a lot of derogatory items, as well as like maxed out credit cards and just hard inquiries, lots and lots of bad things on there. And I was not able to maintain my credit. So, due to that, I was not able to find a place to live. I was living in a different state at the time and staying with different roommates, and they decided they wanted to leave the state. So that forced me to come home to Pennsylvania. So I had to live under other people's roofs and, kind of go from house to house for different family members and friends. And that was a really, really hard thing to go through, because I have children who depend on me. And I had to basically start searching, how am I going to fix my credit? So I started researching. I looked at different companies. I worked with a few of them. And to be honest, I did not get the results I was looking for. So I stayed up endless nights searching and searching. How could I fix my own credit? How can I fix my situation? I need a place for me and my kids to call our own. So basically, what I did was I had gotten myself board certified in credit repair and scores, and as well as personal finance. So I took a lot of courses. I fixed my own credit. And once I fixed my own situation and realized where I was to where I am, I made it my mission and priority to help others. So I branched out. I started helping like family and friends. And then basically, once I realized I could help other people besides myself, that's when I opened my company about 2.5 years ago. So I have been making it my mission to help everybody possible, get their credit and finances on track, because honestly, the world we live in today is super credit dependent, and you cannot afford to have bad credit, period. And I learned this because I was homeless. Now, over the summer, we got into our own place, and, everybody has enough space. We went from sharing like little bedrooms to having more than enough space for everyone. So it's been a huge blessing, and it was not easy, but it was definitely well worth it in the end.
Wow. That's so touching. Where it's a situation where you can certainly empower others because
Yeah,
you've been through these things yourself. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
you're
Uh,
welcome.
go ahead, Jasmine. Introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your personal story.
Okay, so yes, my name is Jasmine, and my video is right, or is it weird?
It's just your background is blurred. But you're fine. I can see you good.
Okay, looks like my face is moving real slow motion, so I was
It
making sure it
might
was
be.
okay. All
Yeah.
right, sorry guys, but at least you can hear me. Um, so yes, my name is Jasmine. I'm a mother of four beautiful children, 14, 6, 2, and my 7 month old baby girl. She is such a bundle of joy. And the other three are boys, and I started my journey because as a wife, as a mother, I just felt like it was important to educate not only myself but my kids too, on how important credit was, because I learned it and realized how important it was because my credit was really really bad. I was in the 400s, and every time I try to get approved for something, I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Every time you go try to apply for something, denied, denied. And it started hurting my feelings a little bit, to be honest. And I said, I gotta fix this. I gotta do something. So I did start working on my own personal credit, educating myself, educating my kids, helping them learn. My husband jumped on board, and we were both working as a team. And then I came across some awesome attorneys that I partner with. They are so powerful where they expedite the process to get your credit improved. Excuse me. So, ever since I partnered with them, my credit has just skyrocketed, and it's been so easy because I've just been enjoying the ride. While they've been taking care of it for me. And it's affordable. A lot of companies now, it's hard to find a good one, right? Especially one that's willing to really put in the work to get it done for you, where you don't have to do a lot. So, being busy with four kids, I really couldn't keep doing it on my own as much as I really wanted to. Shout out to Danielle for doing that. That is so commendable. But I just needed that extra help, right? So, again, I partnered with my attorneys, and ever since then, I made it my own business with them to go ahead and start helping many people as possible to improve their credit score, because it's important, it's vital in life. And, I just wanted to break those, generations of not really knowing how important credit is, and to help as many people as I can to, start their debt free journey. So it's been a blessing. It's been a joy. It's something that I really have a deep passion for. And I just hope everybody can understand the importance, and also be able to improve their credit score so they can, really benefit from the joy of being debt free. Having that financial freedom is a weight lifted off your shoulder. So, I want everybody to be able to feel that.
Absolutely. Two things that you both said was that your credit scores were in the fours, right?
Hmm.
So as we open up, I think we all know that the fours are not a good score. But I'll ask you, Jasmine, what is considered a good credit score?
So, a good credit score. Let me pull up my notes because I did write this down. Okay, so a good credit score is, to me, gonna be as high as you can get it. The highest score is an 850, to be honest with you. So, I feel like if you could get as close to it, or as much as possible, you're on the right track. Fours is not good. Okay, the fours are not good. It's something holding you back, from being at an 850. But that's your goal. I would say a good credit score, an excellent credit score is going to be an 850 right now. It may go up higher. We don't know. But for now, you want to at least be at an 850 or possibly a 7 or above. That would be in a good position of having a good credit score.
Okay, I love that. Part B, Danielle.
Hmm.
When you have a credit score that's in the sevens or the 850s, what are the benefits of that when it comes to purchasing? Say, if I was buying a home, what would that high score afford me?
So anything that's over a 740 is considered an excellent score. You
Hmm.
get the same rates as somebody who's in the 800s. So what I always tell my clients and everyone is aim for that 740 score. You don't have to be at the 800 score to get those low rates. So basically you will be able to get the lowest interest rates once you have over a 740 FICO score to be able to purchase.
Gotcha. So a lower interest rate means you're not going to be paying as high
Yes.
Exactly.
on your
Save a ton of
mortgage.
money. Save the
Yes,
money.
yes.
Absolutely. Okay, very, very good. Thank you for the part A and the part B.
Hmm.
What is I would say, what are some things that you can do to boost your credit score?
I guess
Anyone can answer.
Danielle,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, anyone can answer.
So basically, to boost your credit score, you want to make sure you're paying your bills on time. Your
Mhm.
credit card payments should be paid every month on time, even if it's just the minimum. A late payment can really hurt your score. It's very detrimental. It's the
Mhm.
biggest chunk out of your credit score. So it makes up 35%. So you want to make sure you're paying those bills on time. The next
Mhm.
thing would be to have your credit utilization low. That's 30%. So it's the next biggest
Yes.
chunk.
Yes.
You want to make sure credit utilization is under at least 10% so that you're
Mhm.
maximizing your points.
Mhm.
Credit cards make up to 162 points of your credit score. Very, very
Mm,
important that we're using these properly.
Mhm.
Don't
Yes.
just go applying for credit everywhere, because the more you apply for credit, you're looking risky to lenders, and you're also dropping your score 3 to 8 points per inquiry. So you don't want to do that either.
Exactly. And
okay.
just to piggyback off of that, Danielle, you hit it on point. But I was going to just add consistently review your credit reports to keep up with what's going on. I would definitely add to limit your requests for new credit. Okay. When we get at a good score, we don't want to get too excited and then we just start applying, applying, applying. So we want to be cautious of that. If you're renting, you want to start reporting your rental payments. Okay. That's really important. That'll help boost your credit as well.
Mhm.
Um, and also, if you haven't opened up a new line of credit in about 2 years, I definitely think it'll be a good time to go ahead and get maybe a secure credit card to start building that credit, because you want to allow your money to help build your credit. Okay. And then last thing I would add is just to make sure your personal information is always correct on your credit. That also can, be a hindrance for you, like your address, your name, your birthday. We may not think about those things, but it is definitely important that you cross-reference that, okay, to make sure it's not any other information on your credit report that shouldn't be there.
Fantastic. Danielle, you caught me off guard though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I read somewhere that
Hmm.
credit utilization, you want to keep it under 30. You said keep it at
Yes,
10.
30 is good, but 10 is
And
the
is the
best.
best.
The
That's what
best. Yeah.
maximizes your points.
Yes, it does.
So you want to make sure you're under 10%. There's a certain way to use your credit cards to make sure that they're
Yes.
maximizing your points. So
Right.
basically, when you're doing this, the best way to go about it, the easiest way to understand it, is on your statement or due date, like on your statement or closing date. You'll see it on your statement. It'll say one or the other. On
Mhm.
that date, you want 1 to 3% of your card limit to report. And then on the due date, you want to pay it to zero, so you're not carrying interest to
Mhm.
the next month. After your
Right.
due date, you charge it up again and repeat. If you
Mhm.
continuously do this, you will build your credit score up really high. This is a
Exactly.
known fact.
Mhm.
How
Yes.
30%
long?
is
Go
not
ahead.
the key. It's okay, but it's
Yeah,
not going to
good
maximize your
start.
points.
Right. But if you want to elevate and level up, 10% is where you want to
Under
reach
10,
for.
yes.
Mhm.
Go
Agreed.
over, Danielle, one more time.
Okay.
Go over the calculation again.
The
For
35.
the for
Oh,
the no, either for the 30 or the
The
10.
10%,
the
what you
I
just
10%.
think
stated.
So
people want to know.
basically, you want to be under 10%. So, really, the rule of thumb and the best way to maximize your points is pull your credit card statement,
Mm-hmm.
look at it. You'll see a statement or closing date. It usually says one or the other. Sometimes it's the last day of your billing cycle. Whatever that date is, you need to make sure that 1 to 3% of your card limit reports. They like to see a very small balance reporting.
Okay.
After that, on your due date, pay that little balance to zero so you're never accruing interest to the next month.
Mm-hmm.
After that due date, go ahead and recharge, rinse, and repeat. Just keep building like that. Keep building it up.
So wait a minute. So you're what I'm hearing when as I read between the lines is that you probably shouldn't charge the amount that you can't afford to pay back that next month. Is that what
You
you're
should
saying?
not. You should not. You
Okay.
should try to keep your credit cards, lower. I
Right.
myself got in huge credit card trouble, maxed out credit cards. I mean, a lot of debt, like $40,000. So
Oh, wow.
in the past, yes. So I've learned the hard way. I've had a lot of lessons with credit and finances, and that's why it's
Mm-hmm.
become my passion to help
Mm-hmm.
others, really get on track because
Mm-hmm.
it's serious. People think
It
it's no big
is.
deal to go run up their credit cards and
Mm-hmm.
keep swiping. But when
Yep.
you can't afford the bill, it's really hurting you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
have to make sure, listen, if I can't afford to pay this off, I shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
My
That
rule of thumb is if I don't need it or love it, I don't buy it anymore. That's a
Hello.
rule I set for myself.
Very good key. Yes.
so we
So
laugh in my office because I do financial coaching and we say debt stands for don't even buy that.
nope,
Don't
I
even
love it. I
don't
love
even
it.
buy it.
Yes. Yes.
don't
I
even
like it.
buy that. So for you, Jasmine,
Mhm.
I heard you mention something about, somebody who may have gone 2 years without any kind of credit usage, and you suggested like getting like maybe a secure credit card. Is that if they can't get approved for a regular credit card, or do you just recommend a secure credit card overall?
Yeah, I say I would recommend a secure credit card, because it's just a great start for anybody that's just trying to establish credit. Because it's hard to apply for, any kind of credit card when you don't have good credit. So,
Mhm.
a secured card, just go ahead because you're putting your money in, basically securing it, but saying when I use it, I'm gonna pay it on time, or like Danielle suggested, paying it a little bit early, and then that last payment, paying it before the due date or on the due date, is good. But that's your money that you're going to put as a deposit on that card.
Mhm.
So you go ahead and can start, building and establishing your card in that, excuse me, establishing your credit in that way, instead of trying to apply for a credit card and then get a limit. It's hard to do that when you don't have good credit. Okay.
Okay, so part B, explain unsecured versus secured credit cards. What do I need to know as far as the differences?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'll go first.
No, it was part B for
Secu-
you.
oh, I'm B. She's A. Okay, go ahead.
No, no, no. It's you, heart. It's you, dear. Part. It's a just part B to the question.
Oh,
Yeah. Just tell me what is the difference between the secured and unsecured?
well, a secure card works just as an unsecured card or a loan. So it's
Mhm.
just that you may be required to put down a deposit. So basically, I would just say to try to stay away from cards with the additional and unnecessary fees, and always stay away from ridiculous interest rates.
Okay.
Okay, be mindful of that, because a secure credit card, you can usually start with like a low deposit of like $200,
Mhm.
which is a good start, to start establishing your credit. Um, an unsecured credit card would allow you to have more of a limit, that you can access. So that is a benefit. But again, in order to get those benefits from an unsecured card, you have to have good credit established. So I highly recommend anybody that may not have good credit to go ahead and start with a secured card first. And then once you build that history, payments on time, then some credit companies will actually offer you automatically an unsecured credit card. So that's the benefit as well.
Okay, very good. Danielle, I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything. I know there's a lot of rules with the both of them. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Actually, there's one thing I want to add. For people trying to build credit, self-lender is a great option
Oh,
as well.
yes, yes.
It acts as an installment loan on your credit, so it's very important to have a
Mhm,
credit mix.
mhm,
So that will give you the installment part. And
mhm,
actually, after 3 payments, they will actually give you a credit card. So in one
mhm.
account, you'll be able to have an installment loan as well as revolving credit. So that one account gives you a credit mix. So just
Yes,
to kind of throw that out there. It's a really
and
good
that's good.
Wait a
The
minute.
payments are
Wait.
low.
Credit mix. Tell
credit
me what.
mix.
Yeah, break all of this down.
So a credit mix is basically giving you different types of credit on your credit report. So lenders like
Mhm.
to see that you can handle different types of credit responsibly. So basically, credit cards are revolving credit, and like a car loan, student loans, mortgage, that's installment
My
loan.
internet is really bad. My
So when
video
you
is
have,
slow, it's lagging. I need everybody to get off the internet.
Jasmine.
Oh, I am so
Mute
sorry,
your
baby.
line. Mute your line.
um,
Sorry.
Mute your
so
line, darling. Go ahead.
basically when you have credit cards and then you have an installment loan, you are using the two different types of credit that lenders are looking for. Your credit file needs to show lenders that you're credit worthy. So, when they see, oh, you're handling credit cards well, you're handling a car loan well, or you're handling um, any kind of installment loan well, they're more willing to lend to you because they can see that you know how to handle it responsibly. You're showing them credit worthiness.
Right. So, I one of the things that I learned along my journey as well is the revolving versus the fixed interest. And revolving is occurring. The interest is occurring daily.
Yeah. So, yep. And then, I mean, most credit cards are like that. There's not really,
Mhm.
too much
Hmm.
out there that's really the fixed. So, and credit cards, the thing about them is the interest is so high, you have to be careful. So,
Yes, have to
you
be
know,
careful.
So that was definitely a big deal because somebody who has 2 or 3 credit cards, the interest is accruing daily,
yes.
and then if you're late or anything like that, that stuff can skyrocket so quickly. And the average credit card debt they say is between $15,000 and $20,000. Like you
Yeah.
said, yours is up to 40, but that's not unheard of at all. If
Mm-mm.
you got multiple cards, say you got credit card one, credit card two, maybe you got a Macy's card, maybe you got a this card. Talk about some of the interest rates on credit cards.
And let me just say, it's easy to max them out. You just don't realize when you're out there swiping, you're just swiping.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
easy. It's easy
Oh,
to
I
do.
got this
It's
much
very
left? Okay.
So basically the interest rates, I mean, can be in the 20 percentage. So you can have like a 23% interest rate, 26, 29, 30. I mean, they're really high. So you
Mhm.
have to be very careful. Read the fine print. Don't leave that out. If you don't read the
Yes,
fine print, you're not going to know everything that's going on with this credit card. And try to use
exactly.
pre-approvals. Don't just go out there applying for everything because it hurts you.
Exactly, it does.
Every time you miss one payment on a credit card, it can drop your score up to 50 points, just one
Yep,
late payment. It's
yep,
super detrimental to the score.
yep.
So, it's very, very, very important that you keep up with them. And if you find yourself in credit card debt, use the snowball method. Pay down your debt. Use the lowest card, go ahead and pay off like $10 over the minimum to cut into some of
Mhm,
the interest. I always
mhm.
recommend that.
Mhm.
And then do that on every card you have while you put the biggest chunk on the smallest card and then move it to the next smallest once the smallest is paid off and repeat. That's a really good way to get out of credit card debt if you do have some.
I love that. I love that. I love what both of you ladies are saying. You are helping someone today.
That's
Jasmine,
the
you were
goal.
talking about, yeah, you were talking about when people have wrong information that's being reported on their credit, right? So you were saying how detrimental that can be. What are some things that people can do to rectify that? Like, say I'm repairing my credit on my own. what
Mhm.
are what are some things that I can do to correct those inaccuracies on my credit report?
Well, to be honest, one of the methods that I used to use when I was personally doing my credit, I would call the credit bureau. I would get on the phone, and I would get them removed. I would get that information removed within 24 hours. You could call them directly. They have their information online at on their website, where you could just call them and just say, "Hey, I was looking at my credit report and I see these inaccuracies on here. This is my name is not Jasmine M. Singer with an S. It's Jasmine M. Finger, or it's not Jasmine Dillard. It's Jasmine. So you once you report that to them, they remove it usually within 24 hours. That was my experience. And again, my credit score, when I did that, my credit score went up about 10 points when I did that, because they
I
had a lot
asked
of things
that
on it.
because I've seen Letha Thomason. I've seen wrong addresses. I've seen a
Hmm.
whole lot of things, and you're wondering, okay, how this is wrong,
Hmm.
and how do I get those things removed? So, thank you
Hmm.
for explaining that. Um, how long, if I started my journey today, right?
Hmm.
And I'm looking to maybe buy a house in the next year, right? Do Is that a reasonable amount of time for me to get my credit score? Like, how long would you say it typically takes? And I'll shoot this one to you, Danielle. How long would you say it typically takes for you to boost your score, even if you're in the 400s, 500s? Like, what's a good turnaround time, on time payments, stuff like that? What's a timeline?
So to fully restore and rebuild someone's credit, to be honest, you had a realistic time frame right on. It's about 6 months to a year or so, depending what is on their credit file. Everybody's is so different and it varies so much that,
Mhm.
I usually go by a typical client is with me anywhere from 6 to 12 months or so. So, that's definitely the timeline. Probably more so on the year side, because again, this is a process that takes time,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's tedious, but it's definitely worth it in the end. So, going through the motions, doing what you need to do to fix it. And if there's any the thing is, there can be setbacks. If somebody gets a new collection, if somebody misses a late payment, like this is going to set you back. So if you're not staying on track and you're not doing the things you're supposed to do on your side, well, I can be doing everything on my side. But the thing
Mhm.
is, we have to work as a team to get your credit where it needs to be. So typically, when a client is doing what they're supposed to do, I'm doing what I'm doing, 6 to 12 months or so.
Okay. All right. That's good. Were you gonna add something, Jasmine?
Yes, I was. So, yes, that is true. I agree with Danielle. It's definitely realistic for it to at least be 6 months to a year. But with my experience working with my attorneys, because our attorneys, they do, write litigations. They take people to court for inaccuracies. And so, being that they work so diligently, and of course they do protect you on the consumer protection laws. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if everybody may be familiar. There's a lot of them, but that's why I was so happy to partner with them, because they know them and they stick by them in order to protect you, and make sure that everything on your credit report is being reported accurately. So they're able to expedite things a little bit quicker. So our customers usually see a difference within 3 to 4 months within their credit score, really improving drastically within that time frame. But for it to really be where you want it to be at, it does take typically about 6 months to a year.
I just wanted to add to that real quick. I will say I use consumer law as well. You have to use consumer law.
Yes.
Laws protect us as consumers, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
you fight with. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, even though it takes 6 to 12 months or so, that's not to say you won't see any results. You'll see results
Oh
in
yeah.
30 to 60 days or so. You start seeing
Mm-hmm.
results. So I just wanted to add that in there just so people don't
Mm-hmm.
think that they don't see anything for that amount of time.
Right, right,
We
right. That's
definitely
true.
don't want them to feel discouraged.
Yeah.
No,
Like, you
no,
mean I gotta wait a whole year?
no,
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 no.
no, no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, very, very good. Something that that I like, a lot of these questions are coming from people who I've networked with in various groups and things like that. Um, and it asks, and you both can really, because I'm sure you can fill this time easily. What are some good credit behaviors and some not so good credit behaviors? And you kind of have touched on some of them, but if people are taking notes and they did good behaviors versus bad behaviors, and I'll let you go first, Jasmine. Just list a few things, and then Daniel, you can certainly throw in piggyback, whatever. um
Okay, so I would start with making sure you're paying your bills on time versus paying it when I can method. I've been victim to that, and paying on time or paying early has definitely been a benefit.
mhm.
Don't spend more than you can afford to pay back. Okay, that's
Right.
very, very important versus running up the card and paying the bare minimum. Okay, and like I mentioned before, always review your credit report. The annual creditreport.com, they, since the pandemic, have had it where you can weekly get your credit report for free.
Mhm.
So that's definitely an avenue I would recommend, as far as reviewing your credit report on a regular basis. Negotiate settlements to reduce your debt and debt to income ratio. That's important. And do not have more than like two inquiries, I would say, in a year time frame, because inquiries are not good. It's just not a good look, especially for someone who wants to be a homeowner. So we want to make sure you take that into consideration as well.
It's funny you should say that. I remember when I was purchasing my home, and
Hmm.
she was like, listen, my realtor, she was like, listen, don't you put anything
Right, right.
on on your credit,
Yep,
because it can move significantly
exactly.
while you're in the process, and you thought
Yes,
you had a 700 and you end up
yes,
having a 675, or whatever
yes,
whatever it
yes.
is. So that's significant. Danielle, you can certainly chime in with good credit versus bad credit behaviors as well.
Well, definitely what she said, what Jasmine had mentioned. Definitely paying your bills on time. You don't want to be late, even if it's the minimums.
Hmm.
Um, Keep your credit utilization under 10% if you can, because that's what really will keep your score up higher as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
don't max out. I'll do a lot of the don'ts. Don't go maxing out your credit.
Right, right.
Don't just go applying for credit left and right, even if you got a good score or you got your credit restored and now it's higher. That's the last thing you want to do, is just go applying everywhere, because it'll hurt you
Hmm.
again.
Sure.
Hmm.
When you apply everywhere, you look risky to lenders. It's a red flag to them. So you don't want to do that. Keeping the inquiries very low is good. Don't default on any loans. Keep the
Mm.
loan payments up as well.
Yes, yes.
um, you know, and then obviously you want to make sure you've got that credit mix going on too. So, definitely some of the do's and don'ts that you want to stick by, because these will definitely help you, keep your credit more maintained. It's very
Yes.
important actually to learn about credit and financial literacy. It's very, very important,
Hmm.
because the thing is, you can have your credit restored, but it's very easy to fall back down if you're not educated. So
Yes.
that's something that I actually do for my clients. I have a whole financial literacy course,
Hmm.
that I offer, because you have to be educated. I learned
You
this
do.
myself going through my own journey, that I needed to
Yes.
be educated. Or,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be in the
Same.
same situation.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
So
Same.
something you said, Danielle, um, and this is a cycle that people get caught in. And I've looked at my credit card statements, and they have the nerve to tell you if you just pay the minimum balance, how long it
oh
will
yeah,
take for you to pay off this credit card. And you look,
Yep.
and it's years and years and years.
Yep.
Explain to us if I'm gonna pay um the minimum balance versus like how much should I pay over, or should I make separate payments on my credit? Should I do the minimum payment and then maybe throw a little bit more in a couple of weeks later? Just take some time, Danielle, and break that down as to what you think is best practice.
so yes, the thing that comes into that is you're paying the minimum. So all that keeps happening is that interest keeps building and building and building
Mhm.
and building. And that's why it feels like you're
Mhm.
never paying the card off. You're never getting
Sure.
Mhm.
anywhere.
Hmm.
So the best thing to do is pay at least $10 over the minimum if that's all you can do. But you
Hmm.
have to pay something over the minimum because you have to start
Mhm.
chipping away at interest. If you don't, it's going to keep accruing and piling up, and you will never pay that card off. Honestly, the best thing to do is if you can, on that statement or closing date, again, make a little chunk payment, maybe make the minimum 2 times, make it on that date and then on the due date so that you're making 2 payments a month versus one. You definitely want to pay that card down as quick as you can because the longer you drag it out, the longer it's going to take to pay that card off.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Those are, as I talk about my own financial journey and the things that I've done to improve my credit.
Yeah.
Those were some things that really, stood out to me.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times we probably aren't even looking at the statement, but
No.
it tells
Right.
you, and you'll think, oh, I'm paying the minimum balance and I'm keeping good credit, and you're not getting bad credit,
Yeah.
but as that interest is accruing every single day, it definitely creates a longer term of
Hmm.
your credit card credit card interest.
Again,
Prin-
it's the education piece.
Yep.
You
Yep.
learned as you went through your journey.
Yep.
mhm.
The problem is we were never taught anything about credit and finances. That's the
Thank
real
you.
problem.
That is the real
This is the
problem,
problem.
Danielle.
So that's why, to me, with my company, it's not about just restoring someone's credit. That's only one piece to the puzzle.
Right.
You
Sure.
know, you've got to learn how to build and maintain and be educated. You need the
Mhm.
whole picture to fix your situation and be able to keep it that way when you're
Yep.
finished.
Yep. It's a total mindset change.
Yes.
Indeed, I
Agreed.
agree 100%.
Mhm.
Jasmine, I'm going to ask you,
Mhm.
how is credit scored and how is it reported?
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh, I think she froze. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Can
I
you hear
can
me?
hear you. Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just asking, how is credit scored and how is it reported?
Payment history, debt usage, amounts owed,
Mm-hmm.
length of credit history.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miss Danielle mentioned, that credit mix is important.
Mm-hmm.
And then new credit.
Okay. And is there like a scoring guideline for each of those?
Yes. So basically, I would say as far as the score, I would keep it. I would keep it at. Ooh.
Because I know, doesn't it like how do the points jump, or you know what I mean? Like how do they say, okay, these on time payments give you X amount of points on your score? Like I always wondered that. Like how is it scored?
Yeah. So when from my personal experience, when I missed a payment, my credit score went down 50 points. Okay. Which is pretty drastic. When I made my next payment, my score went skyrocketed right back up because I paid a little bit more. So
Hmm.
it actually went up 60 points. And I was like, what? Like,
Okay.
that's such a, it's a big drop when you miss it. But if you could pay a little bit more to bring it back up, it skyrocket right back up. I mean, my score when I was at like, I thought I was doing good, y'all. I was like at a 550. I said, oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And I had missed one payment and my score dropped like 35 points from one payment. So paying and being on track, keep you a calendar, keep you a schedule.
Mhm.
You got to stay on point with it because any payment missed or it drops your score so drastically, but you can recover from that. So like I
Mhm.
said, if you pay it on time or even if you got to pay it early, make sure you do that because it'll bring your score right back up immediately. It don't take long. 24 hours is right back up.
Okay, Danielle, I'm gonna throw this little curveball at you. My mother's sitting listening to the show, and she's wanting to
Aw.
know. Yeah, she's very sweet. Is there a grace period if I'm one day past my due date? Do they give me 5 days? Do they give me a grace period before they put my score in the toilet?
So really, to not have the interest, it's about 5 days for a grace period. But
Okay.
even if you can't pay it within that time frame, I mean, you'll have a late payment, but you always want to pay it at least before the next 30-day payment comes up. So basically, if
Mm,
your due date's on the 12th, you miss that payment, at least pay it before the next 12th comes up, so that you
mhm.
don't, have the 30-day late reporting on there.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking a live question in real
Sure.
time because she was checking, like, ask them. Um,
You gotta ask mama questions now.
That's okay.
yes, when I looked over and she was like, so, I was like so that's why I threw that little curveball in there. So I'm gonna kick this one to you also, Danielle. Explain the debt to income ratio for the audience.
Yep. So debt to income ratio is basically it's all your debts, basically all of them added up, divided by um, your income, and that's what shows a lender your debt to income ratio. So basically, you want to always have your DTI 30% or under. If it's above that, it's considered like too high, and sometimes it will cause you a denial of a loan.
So they'll feel like you're not gonna be able to
Be able to pay
successfully
it.
make these payments.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, they
Okay.
want to see that you're able to repay the loan back. They'll get worried about lending to you. So
Sure.
definitely, you can keep track of your own debts that way, just adding them all up
Mhm.
and then dividing by your income, and that will give you your percentage of where you're at for DTI.
Mhm.
Love it, love it. Next for you, Jasmine.
Mhm.
Is it best to pay off all my debt when it comes to credit?
No. No. s- I mean, you want it. I mean, who wants to be in debt, right? So
Right.
when you are able to remove the stresses of debt, you are then able to focus on savings and investments, right? So it gets a little bit deeper and better for you. But like I believe Danielle did mention, you want to try using that snowball effect, paying off your lowest debt first and then moving up.
Hmm.
It will allow you to make the changes to make with your money and train your mindset. That's important. Train your mindset with focusing on paying off debts and getting ahead one debt at a time. You don't want to think you got to do everything at once, but take one debt at a time. It gets you closer to meeting your goals. While certain things will remain on your credit report, like sometimes mortgages, car payments, credit cards, etc., it does help maintain good credit, though. The age of your credit history is also a benefit. Okay, so you definitely don't want to remove that debt for you
Hmm.
having a better lifestyle and of course a peace of mind.
Understood. So what happened to me? I didn't use a card for a while, and they
Hmm.
just closed it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just
Yeah.
like for not using the card, for not having
Hmm.
interest accruing, for not. So that's why I asked, is it best to have a little something
Yes.
that you pay on these cards, or that you spend and just consistently pay? So I was like, all right, I ended up getting the card back, because I was like, this is the Victoria's Secret one, like I'm not really trying to not really trying to not have that one. So
Right,
I got
right,
I got the card back, and I just put like $25 on it, just so that I can make sure that they don't do that to me again. I was not
right.
aware that they do those kinds of things.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
that's why I asked. I heard, and I'll throw this to you, Jasmine, because you mentioned it. Um, the settlement letters. When you are paying things in collections, what is the best way to make settlements? Like, break that down as to somebody who might have a really high debt and thinks they have to pay the whole thing off.
So, basically, when you have things in settlement, you want to go about it the right way. For me, when I was working on my credit, fortunately, I was able to go ahead and write letters. I did my debt validation letters first. Sometimes by doing that, if they don't respond within 30 days, then you as a right, get that removed automatically off your credit.
Sure. Mhm.
So that's a blessing,
That's
with
a
being
great
able.
first step.
Yep.
You might run that back, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
Run that
yeah.
back.
When you're
There
trying
might be
to.
a way to not even pay the bill.
Exactly, exactly. So I definitely recommend, that being your first step is, if you are gonna repair your credit on your own, make sure you do those debt validation letters first, because a lot of creditors will report a lot of inaccurate things on your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one way to go ahead and start settling some of that debt that may be on your being reported on your credit.
Okay. Fantastic. Danielle, break that, we'll do a part B to that question. If I'm going to go ahead, and the next, Jasmine talked about, the validation, but okay, this is legit, and as high as I don't know what. I got this thing. It's $3,000, and sometimes the creditor may call you and offer a settlement. But is there a way for me to reach out to them and see if there's some kind of settlement agreement that we can make?
Yeah. So the first thing I always want to say is always do a pay for delete. Never, ever, ever pay them anything until you have in writing the agreement. And
Mhm.
that's called a pay for delete. Always ask for that. And let them tell you first what they'll offer. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's lower
Mhm.
than what you're willing to pay. So,
Mhm.
most of the time they'll take like 40%, maybe even
Mhm.
less. So
Mhm.
let them start the negotiation. And if you
Mhm.
don't like where it is, then you tell them, no, listen, this is what I can or I'm willing to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And just let them know. But again, don't ever pay them a cent until you have in writing that they will
Mhm.
remove it from your credit report.
Yes.
If they won't do a pay for delete, it is still wise to settle the debt, because you don't want to have that debt there, period.
Mm-mm.
Then basically just go ahead and settle it and then have somebody remove it for you. So that is, the way to get it off. First, just try the
Mhm.
pay for delete. If you can't do that, still settle the debt and have somebody remove it for you.
So someone I know, that is exactly what happened to them. And they were in the process of trying to buy a home. And what happened was, they didn't get the letter in writing, right?
Oh
They
no.
paid this debt, right? They sold the loan
Oh
right
no.
before the person.
No.
So then it was a new, and this is somebody that's very
Ah,
close to me. She was devastated
I
right
bet.
before, like, you know how they'll break the settlement down into a couple of payments.
Yes, yes.
So she was nearing her last settlement payment.
Hmm,
They
hmm.
sold her loan to
Shut
someone
up.
else, and they recharged the stuff all over
That's
again, and
terrible.
Oh
she was
no.
livid.
Oh,
You
And
have to do that
yes.
too.
that's a
Yes.
big part of why we are doing this daggone show, because we
Yes,
because
yes.
honestly, these debt collectors are ruthless
They
with the
are.
They
things that
are.
they do and
That's
how.
why you have to know your rights too.
Yep.
That's very important. That was
Study
one thing I was
consumer
gonna add.
rights, know your
Yes,
rights. There's laws that protect us, there's
yes,
definitely laws.
yes.
And actually, most of the time when you look at your credit report side by side too, there's some kind of inaccuracy. So
Hello.
they claim to 100% accurately report. Well, how is it that TransUnion says I owe 500 and Equifax says I owe 395? Well, that's not
Right.
accurate. So it's
Hello.
cause for removal. Again,
Wait a minute. I've seen that a million times where the one score is a different score. Equifax is different than TransUnion. You're saying they should be the same
well, they should
across
match up
all three
pretty well.
bureaus.
Pretty
But what I'm
close. Yeah.
saying is an amount. Say that you have a, I don't know, Old Navy credit card, and some TransUnion is saying you owe $500, right? But then Equifax is saying you owe $395. Well, that's not accurate, because how can you owe 400 with one bureau and 395 with another? That doesn't
Sure.
match. So
Gotcha.
anything that doesn't match, that's inaccurate. That's not 100% accurately reporting. So again, cause for removal. There's so many
Exactly.
ways to go
Mhm.
about having your credit cleaned up.
Yes.
It's
Beautiful.
just really, again, it all starts with education.
Hello. Yes.
These are some major keys, and we have just two questions left from our audience, and I'm going to let Jasmine answer one, and then I'll throw you back in to answer the other one. Debt consolidation loans for you, Jasmine, are they a good way to go? Why or why not? Jasmine?
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why my connection is so bad. It came in slow after you said it. You said the debt consolidation loans, are they helpful or not? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't recommend them because they take all of your debt and combine it into like one big lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you miss one payment, it's like murder she wrote.
Gotcha.
So, like, what if one of the debts were like super small, or what if the consolidation company drops the ball or pays late, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
if your credit score isn't high enough to qualify for a lower interest rate, I wouldn't suggest consolidation.
Okay. A lot of people are saying because if I consolidate it on one, like have all my bills together, then I'm only paying one interest rate versus
Hmm.
paying three and four different interest rates. So that's why I asked, was it helpful? Was it not helpful? But I see what you're saying. Um,
Hmm.
Danielle, did you want to add anything?
Um, Debt consolidations. Well, I mean, it looks really bad on your credit.
Yeah.
So unless you're already behind,
Hmm.
you may want to work out your own deals. You may want to call them, because
Hmm.
sometimes they'll lower interest rates and sometimes they'll work
Hmm.
things out with you.
Hmm.
If you're
Hmm.
not already behind, you don't want to work with a debt consolidation company and start accruing all those late payments, which is going to rack up a
Hmm.
ton of negative history on your credit report.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, that's my advice about debt consolidation. Yes, sometimes it's good for those who have already missed payments. It's not really doing much more to you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you just want to make sure it's the right fit for your situation. But if you've been on time, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend calling the companies themselves and figuring out
Mhm,
what you can work out with them, because
mhm.
they will 100% work something out with you. They want the money. They
Yeah,
want to get their
they
payment.
do.
So they're going to work with you.
Something.
Okay.
Something's better than nothing with them.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, they overcharge you for it in the first place.
Yep.
Hello. That is so true. That is so true.
That's why they're willing to accept it, because
You're right. They know what
they
they doing. They know what they doing.
Absolutely. So and I actually lied. I got 2 more questions. But I'm gonna throw this one to you, Danielle. And talk about bankruptcies on your credit.
Bankruptcies are the most detrimental thing to your credit. They can drop your score at least 200 plus points. They'll stay on there for up to 10 years. You really can't get like a home loan or a car. It's really hard the first couple years, especially. If you do go through bankruptcy, which some people, they have no option, I would only use it as an extreme last resort, because there's other options that can help you. But if you do have to do bankruptcy, just know that, it will be a couple of years before you'll really be able to do anything. And bankruptcies can be removed, but it's something that you have to see again if it's a good fit for you, because there may be other options that may be better for you. And I would explore restoring your credit, bankruptcy, debt consolidation, everything, and see what is best for my situation to help me.
Yes.
Because that 200 point score drop is really huge. And again, it's the worst thing that can be on your credit. It's very frowned upon.
It is.
It is a fresh start for people. So, if they need that fresh start and they just really have no other choice, it is there for them. But they should know, the downfall from it.
Yes.
Understood. And I thank you for that. Last question, and I mean it this time.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I'm not gonna name names of credit reporting apps and things like that. Is there a accurate credit reporting app that people could use that is more accurate? I won't bash anyone.
MyFICO.com is very accurate.
Yes.
Okay, myfico.com. And Jasmine, you mentioned what's the agency? My credit report. What was it?
Oh, myannualcreditreport.com. That gives you your accurate credit report for you to monitor as well, and use that to, dispute and see any inaccuracies. That's really accurate. I would definitely recommend that.
Okay. So, lastly, because you all have been, sorry guys, I'm
It's
at home
okay.
and things are
Hey,
going crazy.
that's the beauty of being able to do that.
It's almost like they know I'm about to end. But do me a favor. You have provided a wealth of information to this audience. I fired 20 questions plus. And we got Angel saying thank you for the
Oh,
info.
that is
You're
so
She learned
cool.
welcome.
some
You're welcome,
things.
Angel.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Yes.
As you can see, like I said, I had people. Somebody asked me a lot of these questions, but I threw 20 rapid fire questions at these ladies, and they answered all of them, and they answered them with speed and efficiency. Do me a favor, take a moment and let the people know how they can get in touch with you to access your services. You can go first, Danielle.
So I do run my own company. It's called Heart Financial. If you want to take down the spelling of my name, you can see it on here. You can look me up on Facebook. You can reach out to 484-882-0484. That is my phone number. You can call or text me. My website is heartfinancialrepairusa.com. And I do have tons of different options for all price ranges, budgets, because my goal is truly to help you change your life.
I love it. I love it. And Jasmine, how can the people get a hold of you?
Okay, friends. So, of course, I'm on social media as well. I go by Jazzy and Classy on Instagram, Twitter, um, Pinterest. Um, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Facebook, you can look me up by my name, Jasmine M. Finger, that you can see on the screen. I do have a website. It's www.debtcleanse.com/jazzy and classy. And that's JAZZY, the letter N, and then CLASSY. Okay. And my goal as a debt cleanse advocate is to basically partner you with our attorneys. Because again, as I mentioned, our attorneys, they really help to protect you against those consumer protection laws. So if you may not have that opportunity or the time, because like I said, I didn't have the time with all my kids and busy schedule as an entrepreneur, but if you want to just enjoy the ride while your credit is being cleansed, I definitely recommend partner with our attorneys, because they'll set a strategic legal plan with you and make sure that every step of the way they're guiding you and you're able to communicate with them one-on-one. Again, this is your own personal attorney that you're going to have. You'll have your own personal account that you'll be able to have access to and monitor your results, and you'll have access to all three of your credit reports as well from the bureaus. So I definitely recommend jumping on board. Our attorneys are, very quick and expedited in removing any debt or any inaccuracies on your credit report, so that you can jump start and start, living your best life and becoming a homeowner, becoming a business owner, whatever your financial goals are. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
And we also had first of all, thank you for that. I appreciate you providing all your information, all your handles, and all of that stuff. Brahim also, I see he had a comment as well, and he just said you guys provided some great. Yep, he says thank you,
Oh,
ladies, for the
hey,
financial information.
you're
You're
We got some
welcome.
people.
welcome.
We got a lot of people out here that really want to make some positive changes in their finances. So this show is
Yes.
designed and meant for that. We will continue to have meaningful guests on that provide sound information, and you
I'm
ladies
so
did
sorry,
that tonight.
Lithia. One more thing. I forgot to leave my number, Danielle. I'm sorry. You was right. I should have gave my number out, girl. That's a gem. So 678-263-8051. Okay? That's my direct line.
Very good. You both provided some information that I find to be invaluable, and I hope your businesses
Thank
explode from
you.
this.
Yes,
Thank you.
And
Danielle.
we are gonna wrap up. I appreciate you both, and you have an excellent evening. And I'll be in touch. We're
You
gonna talk
too.
again. We're gonna talk again.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye. Thanks
Thank
for
Thank you.
you.
coming.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Leslie.